You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser-known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. So, Caleb, there are substantially more people in this virtual room than normal.
It feels, I don't want to say crowded, it feels cozy.
Huh. It is cozy. It's nice and comfortable.
I'm used to, like, listen, buddy, I love hanging out with you every week. I love this. This is one of the things I look forward to. But, like, it's kind of nice to see other faces on the screen, or other face. I mean, we get one, it's an image, and I'm told it's a face. I believe it's a face, but like I don't have any proof because it doesn't move. It just smiles at me, and
it just sort of
some concentric circles pulsate around it as it laughs, and it's
serene,
somewhat
and
unsettling.
Assuming nothing went wrong, for those of you watching on YouTube, you see all four of our faces, and maybe you recognize these other faces. We hope you do. If you've been around the Night Shift Media channel, you have seen these faces before. But we are joined by Casey and Todd of the SuperPodHeroCast.
Yay.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
It's
Casey,
you've
been with them for a while. I haven't been with you guys since we watched a movie that I don't know that we want to revisit, but
you shut your
Spaghetti
mouth.
Man. What was the last thing all four of us did together was Spaghetti Man?
The last thing all four of us did together was Spaghetti Man. Casey was around when I was indisposed. Yes. Casey filled in for me for a little bit, and that was very nice. I have thanked you. I've thanked you personally, and I have thanked you publicly, but I've never personally thanked you publicly. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And then the three of us were together, not only for Nerd Debate just recently, but we did Kick-Ass a while back, too.
That's right.
So we're coming back for something that's actually good.
Yes.
We did have Michael with us, manning the helm, so to speak, of our 100th episode for Return of the Joker and beyond. So
that's true.
The foursome here, it's a ways back.
Not on same days, but y'all both were helped out with Somnium as well, which as our viewers can see,
Somnium,
Michael and Casey both wearing the shirts.
No, I have it on very good authority. It's pronounced Somnium.
Somnium.
So Somnium.
Casey falling out of the chair while recording is my job.
Okay. I'll leave it to the professionals. I'm terribly sorry.
I sat down specifically for this.
Just so he does it. So we are doing a fun bonus episode. So as you know, as we are wont to do, that's the second time I've used that today. But for you guys listening, it's like 4 days apart. I know.
I love. Hold on. Today we're doing a fun bonus episode as opposed to last week.
None of them are fun except for a more fun, a different fun episode where we're actually going to review the new series She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and we figured who better to bring us with along than the gentleman of the SuperPodHeroCast.
Oh wait, I watched the 2003 short She-Hulk. Very short, 9 minutes. Was that not what we were supposed to watch?
The one by writer, director, and star Stephen Grew?
Yes, as a security guard? Absolutely. Yeah, he was great.
We messed up. Oh boy,
I'm sorry.
We got to go back.
I'll be right back.
Details.
Michael,
I'll be back in 30 minutes.
I need you, Michael, and Todd, and our listeners to understand, like, if you haven't looked at the poster for this film, this looks like if the Polonia brothers tried to tackle the original Lou Ferrigno style, but did it as themselves.
But did it as themselves in She-Hulk. Oh boy. Yeah.
Now I feel
just
like
to say, I bet it's awesome.
I bet you it's like Roger Corman Fantastic Four level awesomely bad.
God.
It's probably like I gotta imagine it is like objectively terrible, but for like a fan-made short based, like lovingly based on like the original She-Hulk comics, I bet it's probably fucking awesome.
And it's 9 minutes, so even if it's bad, you're done real quick.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're getting out of it.
Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done. I've watched that. Thank you.
So here we go. We're going to talk about the She-Hulk Attorney at Law, brand new show on Disney+. So for those of you watching and listening, the second episode just dropped today, so you can enjoy that second episode. We are going to be spoiler reviewing the first episode and talking about all the fun things in it. Now, I'll be honest, she did not talk to the camera as much as I thought she would. For the first episode, at least.
That is true.
I loved that it starts with a fake out of a fourth wall break.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, we're going to get right into Jennifer Walters looks, breaks the fourth wall, just like in John Byrne. Great. And I'm like, oh, she's working on she's not going to break the fourth wall. And then she turns around at the end of that scene, like, oh, yes, I'm a Hulk. And I'm like, Oh, we are going to break the fourth wall. Yes.
Point of order, just quick question. So clearly I misunderstood the assignment. I assumed we were operating under SuperPodHeroCast rules.
Oh.
So you also can't see my video because of a little technical problem. But I do have Great Lakes Brewing Company's Tropic Coastal Tropical IPA.
Wait,
right? Caleb, why?
Will you two pull this down if I swear?
No.
You
can I actually not do that? Can I not?
I'm just gonna set this up for you. What are we drinking?
Thanks, Bob.
So
for me, it's water because it's very fucking hot in this room.
I'll say this. I used to think the Batcave was the coolest secret lair ever. But I think Bruce kind of takes it now with the tropical beachside lab tiki bar. So in honor of his tiki bar, I am drinking the Tropic Coastal Tropical IPA.
I respect
This is not a sponsored video. This is not a sponsored
video.
Todd is just really pushing this for some reason.
But listen, we got a thing at the SuperPod HeroCast. We drink beer and we talk about these movies. So.
And who was the one who said we should drink beer, Todd? Who was that?
Oh, that'd be me. No. Oh, that'd be me. I was like, I like your idea, but can we twist it and put beer on it?
Can we do it with alcohol?
You got a great idea, but here's how it could be better.
That's right.
Okay.
Shit face.
So what is the Starlet side? Okay. Great idea, but it sucks. I think we should go with my idea.
Yeah.
Mine's better. I do agree. I think it was very interesting that they gave Tony and Bruce this bigger bromance relationship than we saw throughout the series. And I actually really like that because it's like, I was like, oh, he really, really misses his best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best it was friends, it's kind of pointing out like Thor's off world, all the original, Hawkeye's retired. Bruce is pretty much, now that he's got his arm back, that was a little like, yeah, we're not going to pay attention to what happened in Endgame. It's cool that they did that, but like he's the only original Avenger left.
Yeah.
And he was already kind of a lonely guy too, with being literally the only person in the world who understood what he was going through.
And it was interesting to see like Bruce like leaning in on that side of his character, right? Which is like, no, you have to be alone because the power inside you, one bad day, it's stray movement, and it's half of Cleveland. So it was interesting to see like maybe that's more of his conscious choice than we kind of assume with Bruce, right? Like maybe he's not driven out, maybe he's recognizing that he needs to be out, but
he's kind of self-shunning.
Yeah. I mean, we got 2 movies of basically him saying like, I need to be alone and by myself. But I mean, they're not, I guess, technically canon anymore because the Edward Norton one is not considered.
No, it is.
I think that's
no.
But is that the one that they said that they... No, I think that there was a thing where Disney Plus didn't list it as like things you should watch to prepare for She-Hulk, where they completely
probably they don't own the rights to it.
I say they can't
because
that and the Spider-Man movies. Like if you want to do a full, true, faithful MCU watch through, you have to leave Disney Plus for Hulk and for the Spider-Man movies because they're not there. Yeah. So we actually just skipped them when we did ours a couple of years ago.
Point of order: The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Don't watch.
Yeah.
Hulk.
Don't watch Hulk.
No.
Don't watch Hulk.
Precision of language matters.
We're gonna pull that in our show.
Oh, please don't.
And boy, I'm not looking forward to that.
Maybe we'll pull it for episode 2 of season 6.
When you pull that, do a full bait and switch on your listeners and just review the 2008 short She-Hulk.
Ooh, I like
or
that.
do like the 1980. You probably have the Lou Ferrigno one in there separate.
No,
it's roughly the correct timeline though, because so Iron Man was released in 2008, and Incredible Hulk was very close afterwards, right? It was
the same year.
So yeah.
Yeah, so like there you go.
Iron Man's in the post-credit scene of that.
Just be like, we're reviewing 2008's She-Hulk.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, must have cut out last week when we said it was She-Hulk, not just Hulk.
It's weird. It just keeps doing it every time we say it. I don't know what the deal is.
To your point, though, I appreciate stories like this that give us a little bit of glimpse into like what else happens with these characters. Like these people supposedly have lives that happen while the action is taking place for everyone else. But we don't get to see that very often unless it's the introduction of a new character and they're showing us their background of what's happening in the backdrop of the incident or the snap or like whatever. Like we don't typically get like a behind the scenes glimpse of the quiet day-to-day lives of the Avengers. I appreciated that.
I appreciate that. I'm going to stake my claim now in this phase and that I don't know when everything takes place.
It's very shortly after Shang-Chi. They specifically, they publicly came out and said that it's shortly after the events of Shang-Chi. So it's because Shang-Chi happens and he has the arm brace. So it's just after that.
So pretty much he recorded that and then went on vacation with his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he recorded that. He did that, fixed his arm, went on vacation with his cousin, like all in a period of a couple of months. I think that's what they've said. They've gone on record of saying that's how close it is.
Yeah, but like, when do the Eternals take? Never mind. I'll save that for our.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is getting in the weeds of the Marvel universe, and I don't know.
You know what I think is important, because I think this is a bigger trend that we're going to see through. What are we, phase 4 now, right? So phase 4 into phase 5. Kevin Feige has said that we will not get another Infinity Saga, right? Where, 20 odd movies all tied to a single story thread. So I think it's even more important that if we accept the fact that not every Marvel property is going to connect now as they have in the past, it'll be more important to kind of fill out the world, which in my mind makes the MCU look more like the comic books, right?
Sure.
You could have an issue of Captain America where Thor shows up, but then, Captain America might not have another Avenger or buddy for 20 episodes.
Yep.
And I think that's what the go forward strategy with the MCU is going to look like. So, Moon Knight, a couple series ago, seemingly unconnected at all. And, I think we got to be okay that things are not going to connect, or they're not going to connect for a while.
Well, I think
that's the Marvel universe.
I think that strategy makes a lot of sense as they're introducing all of these kind of smaller scale shows to like introduce us to a much like wider breadth and depth of what the Marvel Comics universe has to offer. I think that like it's totally okay for us to just get seemingly unrelated stories about cool characters. And
I mean, think how many like major threats the X-Men were doing in the Avengers were like across the country, but you're like, they'll be fine.
Yeah,
they got it.
It's fine. And like even in like the current MCU, like as it says, like we just had the Netflix shows, the Daredevil Defenders mini universe, whatever, basically get canonized. But that is several years of payoff from the original episode of Daredevil to us seeing Kingpin in Hawkeye and knowing that Kingpin and Charlie Cox are coming back, that D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are coming back for Echo and for She-Hulk and for another Daredevil show. Like we're getting that payoff. So like if nothing feels connected now between, let's say, like Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk, but like 3 years from now, like there's some like big team up event and like one of them pops on screen like, surprise, motherfuckers. Like,
that's right.
There we go. There's our payoff.
This is the perfect execution of what we didn't get after the first Avengers movie and Joss Whedon creates Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Yeah.
I was, on my blog, I was so hopeful for the idea of, boy, they've got all these different channels, because Netflix was just starting with Daredevil. We had ABC with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We've got the Marvel studios and the movies. I was hoping for this kind of cross-platform pollination that never delivered, right? So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we got Lady Sif in one episode. They referred to the events that were happening in the larger MCU.
The incident.
The incident, right? But we never got the Iron Man strolling through Shield headquarters as he might do, or he might do in the comics, right? So,
well, I mean, remember there was I think it was in season 2 where you had to watch the first half of Agents of Shield, then go see Captain America: Civil War or Winter Soldier, and then watch the second half of Agents of Shield because it specifically dealt with the events of the movie.
Yep,
and that's what that's what kind of we're getting now. I mean, it took them almost 10 years, but we got to that point now where we're getting that sort of like, I mean, and they even said like in this specifically, they don't talk about the blip, and they're probably not going to talk about the blip at all in this show, but we see, Iron Man's helmet at Bruce's thing. We hear him talk about like, this is what we went through, and all my friends are dead, basically. Like
it's a little sad.
We don't have time here, but like I still want to know, like, what about Runaways and Cloak and Dagger? Like, are those going to live as just like full on like one shots? Like, I mean, because they had a crossover too. Like,
I think that'll stay legacy stuff. Like, it won't.
Yeah. I think it lives in the Agents of Shield world, where it's just over there.
It's just it's a thing that happened. Yeah.
To bring us back to She-Hulk, you just said someone comes in and is like, surprise, motherfuckers. I don't ever want the F word dropped in MCU because I love the way they are getting around it. It is funnier than them actually doing it.
Yep.
Well, they've done it at least twice.
At least 4 times, because I've seen, I saw like a meme of like somebody like visualized them all.
What are other? You got them?
Spider-Man, Homecoming, and No Way Home both end with someone saying, what the
and Fury during
motherfucker. Guardians of the Galaxy, right after the Power Stone is used by the pink girl.
Yep.
Peter goes, what the and something blows up behind him, so he doesn't say it, and then Captain America.
What a great payoff too. You know what, Todd?
At least once.
At least one. Well, I mean, at least twice, because he definitely did after he goes back.
That's true.
Spoilers. That's so.
Spoilers for
SuperPodHeroCast. For no, it is not.
This is true. Since we're in that scene, kind of very interesting that when she's faking being drunk.
Yeah.
What does Hulk say? Captain America is not a virgin. Not was.
I mean,
everyone thinks he's dead,
man.
but I think he's just hiding somewhere.
No way is he dead in the MCU. No, because if he had died, that would have been a world event. They would have talked about it. But
it seems like they did. Like, it seems like there was a fake funeral for him so he could live out his life as an old man the last couple of years.
Well, of course, Bruce knows that he's still alive.
Yeah.
But I think, like, the world doesn't. Well, what's his name from Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like, he's still alive, and that was only like 100 years. But Cap is, definitely younger in theory because he was frozen for 70 years. So he is younger than Isaiah Bradley, I think it is. The first black
Patriot.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in theory, Isaiah Bradley is older than Captain America in terms of how many years he's lived.
I thought Isaiah... Oh, in terms of... Yes.
Well, because Cap's frozen for 70 years of it, so he just doesn't exist for 70 years. He's literally locked
I would
in
expect
stasis.
that, unlike the Marvel comics, I would expect that in the MCU, we're going to find out... Like, either they're never going to look at... They're never going to poke at that detail, or it'll be a retcon that the super soldier serum also... inhibits aging, right?
Sure.
Which is also a way out if they ever entice Chris Evans back, right? Like a burst of Vita rays can. Oh, go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead.
I want to point out that I don't remember Banner saying Steve Rogers is not a virgin. I remember him saying Captain America, and who the fuck is Captain America?
Well,
but then he said,
who is Captain America?
But he says when he lost his virginity, though. But he said it when he lost his virginity.
He lost to USO girl. Yeah. And so, yes,
no, I'm joking.
But the internet needs to learn, Sam Wilson
is Captain America.
The sentence itself, Captain America fucks, in the present tense still applies because there's
Sam
no
Wilson
way Sam
fucks.
Wilson.
Sam.
Yeah.
Like when they were on the run,
he
he's like, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
2-3 hours.
Oh, a little
He's got it on
respect,
lock.
please. Come on.
Everyone's got needs, Todd.
So I'll be honest. I think She-Hulk was funnier than I expected it, but I did expect it to be funny. But it was funnier than I expected.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I would have liked it to have been a little longer. The half an hour, I was like, oh, we're done?
yeah.
This is it? Give me more.
You know, I'm so glad that we went. And again, I think now we're getting the spread and the diversity of tone and stories
Sure.
across the MCU. I'm so glad that we went with so we referenced John Byrne earlier. All time, my favorite artist, writer, John Byrne. 1989, he restarts, he basically starts a new series. The Savage She-Hulk came out in 1980, and that is the like Amazon woman. She's fierce. And I would say in a lot of ways, she's really just a female version of Bruce, which is kind of boring. 89, John Byrne, reboots the character in the sensational She-Hulk. That's where we get the breaking the fourth wall. That's where we get, holy cow, she's one of the low-key funniest characters in the Marvel comics, mainly because of the breaking the fourth wall long before Deadpool does it. I'm so glad that's the inspiration in the source material, not Savage She-Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Like we got all the gravitas emo we needed with Moon Knight. This is a good palate cleanser.
Speaking of She-Hulk and Moon Knight, I'm sure it's much like the "Where are you, Dracula? You fucking nerd! You owe me money."
Yeah.
Have you seen the one where it's like they're in like an office and She-Hulk walks in and goes, "Hey, that's Moon Knight," and it shows Moon Knight and goes, "Fuck, a lawyer." Can that happen? I just want that?
I mean,
It might.
it definitely could. I love the idea. Like each one of these shows is very much establishing its own tone, its own identity, its own setting, and like
absolutely.
some of them work very well together. As in, like there's the whole bunch that take place in New York, and so that opens up opportunities for crossovers. Yes, but each one is its own unique identity, and the idea that we can have a fucking like super powered lawyer comedy. I'm here for it. And the fact that she repeatedly says lawyer show.
Yeah.
I think that was a really great way of saying, like, hang on, we're going to go talk about all the Hulk things, and then we'll come back, and then we'll do lawyer show.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd.
Tatiana Maslany. Until this, I was only aware of her from
Orphan
the HBO
Black.
series. No, not that. Perry Mason.
Oh,
the guy
shit.
from
Mason? Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's got a part in that, and she's really good. But I did not watch that series and think Jennifer Walters. That's who we need.
No.
Oh my God, she crushed it, right?
Orphan Black is because she plays so many different characters in Orphan Black that it was like, oh, well, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Well, the internet actually wanted Allison Brie because apparently the
I can see that.
the call sheet for it, or not the call sheet, but like the audition
Casting
notice came
notice,
out.
yeah.
Casting
Yeah.
notice, and it said looking for an Allison Brie type, and everyone was like, "We have an Allison Brie type.
So just
her
do
name is
Allison
Allison
She's named
Brie,
Allison Brie.
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
fantastic too." But when they cast Tatiana, I was like, "Yeah, okay."
What?
I'm
Yeah.
not mad about this either.
I like how disarming she is, though, because she looks like the romantic love interest in like an 80s comedy.
Yes. Well, I mean, she looks like Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
Is what it
Or
is.
like,
yeah.
she looks
Or,
like a
yeah.
more like grown-up baby from Dirty Dancing.
That's so it's like Jennifer Connelly. Wait, no,
No, that's
am I
not
saying
Jennifer
what's-
Connelly.
It's
Jennifer
Jennifer Grey
Jennifer Grey.
Yeah.
That's
Jennifer-
Yeah,
who
yeah.
was married
Jennifer Connelly
to
is Requiem
Phil.
for a Dream, which is
Phil Coulson.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
You're-
right.
Are they no longer married? Or are they still? I
they
thought they were
sadly
still
divorced. Yes.
Oh, that's sad.
But yeah, so like it makes her disarming, which makes the transformation to this massive like green woman like that much more intimidating. Like, holy shit, you're not the same person I was just talking to,
Right.
but she is.
And
Because
all
we
the-
learn she's in control. How fucking
I
crazy
love
is that?
I love
Yeah.
that she just and he's like, I got this. No, I figured it out. Bye. See you later.
Yes.
I love seeing Bruce jealous.
yeah.
Yeah,
that was
jealous. Is that what I'm feeling? Jealousy.
What is happening?
So there's been a lot of stuff that's come out about Marvel pushing CG and switching stuff up, and that's why we've gotten some shoddy CGI in Phase 4. There's been some great stuff, but a couple times I'm like, I gotta use another pass of that. Some of the CGI for a TV show on this, I was like, it's okay, but some of it was really great.
Yeah.
How
Yeah. expressive
her face is in certain moments, mainly comedy moments, great. I really
Yep.
like that. You know, Bruce is passable. Unlike with Thanos, where you forget it's a CGI
Yeah.
character sometimes, the whole time I'm going, the CGI is good or it's passable.
This
There's
is-
never a moment where I'm like, that's bad CGI.
This
It
is
is, but
the
if you-
worst Hulk CGI in a while.
Sure,
Yeah,
but
it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's just it's the most noticeable.
You
And if you-
notice it's a CGI character. That's
you-
where it's at.
But if you frame it as if you're comparing it like to like, so it's unfair, I think, to compare it to any feature film.
Extremely unfair. Even
Right?
with
Like,
Marvel's budgets,
sure.
it's
If you
extremely
if you compare it to the Agents of Shield when we had CGI there, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to think,
Like the
if we
Kree.
had, yeah, I'm trying to think if we had really any in the Netflix series, right? Like nothing there.
Well,
looked-
Iron Fist was because he fought.
Oh, sure,
Not
sure.
familiar. Was there a show called Iron Fist?
Oh, you shut your mouth.
404.
That's 30 minutes of Caleb being like, now listen, asshole, let me tell you about why Iron Fist was actually good.
You're casting a martial arts superhero. Step one: find an actor that knows martial arts.
Or at
And
least
then-
is
We're
willing to
poking the
train.
bear. Oh, no.
And he refused to train. So yeah.
That's the thing is, I will agree with you that like the biggest complaint that people say is that the fight scenes feel too stilted, too choreographed, and that he wasn't in them. I'll agree with you on that.
Okay.
I thought as Danny Rand, he was fine. He wasn't great,
Agreed.
but I also don't think Danny Rand is that exciting of a character. I thought for the most part, Finn was fine. Yes, the fight scenes could and should have been better. I don't dispute that. I just think as a whole, the show was fine. And its part in the larger like Defenders collective, specifically his moment, like Finn had chemistry with, and I am drawing on a blank on his name, but the amazing actor that plays Luke Cage.
Michael
Mike,
Coulter.
Yes,
Mike.
like they had the Power Man and Iron Fist chemistry when like the 3 times they were on screen together. I wanted more of that, and Yeah.
You know where
That's
you
it.
got that chemistry? Was Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like that level was
Yeah.
what we wanted in Defenders.
like
So
I
since there are no
want-
spoilers here on the Nahoit, the reason that it is Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness is because their contracts aren't up yet. That's why they're waiting till phase
It
6
was like
to do the
I read
mutants.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a lock
I'm
for
wondering
years.
if the Netflix contracts are still in play, and that's
But they
how we're
just
able
got
to get
Charlie Cox out, though?
Yeah,
Yeah. Is
but
where they're
everyone
like,
else
you
is,
get
I
one.
mean, Mike Coulter's doing Evil on Paramount, so that
Which is
that
great,
limits
by the
him.
way.
I
Yeah.
hear it is. I really want to check that out.
It's
But
super scary. Like, it is actually scary, but it's really good. Yeah.
scary, you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, it's like horror movie scary.
I wanna
at some
watch it.
parts. Yeah.
I love. He's
Yeah,
such
yeah.
a good actor. I
he's
love
great.
it.
Yeah. And it's a really cool world.
Yeah, but I think all those people might be, honestly, they could all show up for Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I
'Cause
mean,
we're going
we
to need
saw
everybody.
I mean, we saw Kristen Ritter back into Jessica Jones' hair and outfits on her Instagram, and that was a big thing that she filmed a scene. It would make sense that she would show up in She-Hulk, just because, like,
She's
as a private
detective.
investigator, she is going to fall into, lawyer world. I feel like eventually we're going to see, because, like, we got introduced to Titania briefly, who, by the way, is amazing, played by Jamila Jamil.
Yeah.
Freaking love her.
Yes,
to death.
please.
She was in
Yes,
Good
Give
please.
Place.
us more of her.
yes,
Yeah, which I think that was just like, you're going to get that. And then they're going to be like, hey, remember that person punched in the first episode? Here's a bunch of stuff.
I hope we
there.
see
Like, I
more of
don't
that
think
fight too, because it was so
Yeah.
cut, and I'm like,
I think
again,
they're going to go back to it.
give us more. Give us
So
more.
that was a disappointing first fight. The first fight between Bruce and Jennifer was
Yeah.
delightful,
my
right?
God.
It was siblings fighting, and then they break something. They're like, okay, no, we're
It
done.
is-
We're done. We can't fight anymore.
This is literally what, like, my cousin and I used to fight exactly
Yes.
like this. So, like, when they were fighting, I was like, yeah, I'm sure I probably tried to clap into my cousin's face before. Like, come on.
again,
Like, we definitely did that as kids.
Sibling, if you got siblings, me and my
Yeah.
3 brothers, yes, 100%. 100%. We destroyed tiki bars, yes.
but once
Aw, it
something
was
got
so
destroyed,
sad.
that's
My
when you
bar.
stopped.
Oh, sure,
Yes.
sure.
Like, oh, something
Shit,
broke.
when you team up to fix it so you don't get in trouble.
That's
yeah,
right,
that was
before
my
my
brother.
It's a
and me.
team building exercise. Yeah.
Doesn't matter how pissed off my brother and I were at each other. As soon as something broke, it's we got to stop Dad from finding out about it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, my bar. I was so sad because it was just heartbreaking.
So Casey and I were talking yesterday. We were hanging out a little bit. I'm thinking
Spoilers.
that I know, right? I think, unfortunately, that's all the Mark Ruffalo we're going to get in the series. Casey does not think that.
He has to come back because of the Sokovian ship.
The Sakarian.
Sokovian.
Well, there's two.
Could be Sokovian.
I mean, they're getting their revenge.
Yeah.
But the Sakarian ship.
Yeah.
So that was there were definitely two things that were setting the stage. So the Sakar ship, absolutely. The second one, I was like, ooh, give me more of that. The blood sample, right? Like,
yeah.
He makes a big deal of the blood sample,
that
the power
was dramatic.
of the blood, right? And he incinerates it, but there's more blood there. And I feel like we wouldn't have spent so much time on that if the gamma blood isn't going to mean something, which, we got a teaser in Incredible Hulk that went nowhere because, no movies directly led from that. But
that was my next question. Please
go
ahead.
Yes, go. So are we going to get
podcast together, Todd?
You guys have great chemistry together. Yeah, this is good.
I want the Hulkkin, right? Like we got a glimpse of maybe Leader.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so the wonderful
Abomination is going to be in this show. Yeah.
Right. So if we got Abomination and it is Tim Roth, there's no reason not to get.
Brother,
I forgot the actor's name.
Yeah.
David Blake Nelson. No, not David.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson. Yeah, he's fantastic. Get him back as the leader.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I love that, again, going back all the way to that, Savage versus sensational She-Hulk. What I love by making this clear choice that, no, this is the sensational She-Hulk, they've now introduced this idea that is very true to the comics, right? Gamma radiation does not make you a monster. The Hulk is a monster because Banner had all that repressed rage.
Yes.
Right? Doc Samson is fun. Jennifer Walters is fun. The leader is hyper intellectual. Like, I love this idea that it's almost like the super soldier serum. It just enhances the character you already are. So if this does not lead to more Hulkkin in the MCU, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed.
Well,
why would you waste it?
Sakarian ship has to be coming to be like, oh, by the way, here's your son, Scar.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what everyone's saying.
Well, I mean, I was wondering why of all races or ships or anything to come very specifically Sakaar after, Hulk just spent 2.5 years there. So I was like, that's a very, very deliberate choice of alien races to come looking for Hulk.
Or are they going to Trevor this and it's just going to be someone coming to collect like a bar tab that the Hulk had?
Which I mean,
would also
which
be
is very
hilarious.
funny, but I think it's going to be something a little bigger than that.
Hope it is.
I would hope. I think it's going to be the overarching.
Stop Trevoring us. We're done.
Yeah. Trevor.
We would be extremely remiss if we didn't mention the absolutely incredible way that the writers and, by extension, Tatiana delivered the explanation of how she handles her anger.
Yeah.
The
suddenly very serious moment in this silly comedy.
Should we warn all of the right-wing misogynists that they want to stop listening now?
If they are listening to our show, they are.
They've been having a bad time for a long time. And
they're not watching
far
the
left
Sandman
radicalized
anymore.
by now.
They've had a rough go of it. Yeah.
But the moment when every non-male viewer of this show collectively screamed, "Yes, that's the thing," she explains I control my anger better than you could ever possibly imagine because I do it all day, every time someone talks down to me the way that you're doing. The way that someone doubts me, someone explains to me what I already all of this shit, how eloquently she says it, and I'm just like, fuck yes, they're right out episode 1. They're putting right out there. We are not fucking around in this show. Jennifer Walters is a badass.
Yep.
Yes,
she is.
So this was a family watch for us, and not every Marvel show is we've had everybody, but everybody, including Papa, both boys, me, Aubrey. I looked over at Aubrey, and she is like, yeah. She's like, girl, yes.
Yes. Right? Ellen was exactly the same, and I loved it.
And I'll say it here only because we have no females here, so I won't be guilty of mansplaining. But this is that was the female double bind, right? If they are too self-confident and sure of themselves, then they're out of control. They're savage, the savage She-Hulk, right? And then if they're too passive, they're not a leader. They're not confident. They're not the right person. So again, well-traveled ground. The comics, science fiction, fantasy on the whole were woke long before that was a word.
Yeah, sure.
And the right wing, who is now all of a sudden like, this season of The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw some of the backlash.
Where they're
some
like,
of the,
wait a minute.
yes, there were some.
Wait,
some
this was
right,
against the Nazis all along?
yes. They're like, wait, are you making fun of us? And it's like,
Nazis are bad?
they were clearly not paying attention to
Yeah.
anything we read. I mean,
Right.
the roots in not Marvel, not DC, in this genre, firmly embrace all that, right? X-Men is allegory for racism or homophobia.
Yeah.
Like, it just, you cannot read the source material without understanding where they're coming down on this issue. And I'm so happy that in the midst of all the silliness and delightful fun that we were having, they were also like, oh no, but yeah, we're fucking strong women. Like that's
And what a way to flip an origin story too, because they have this whole scene of like it's going to be a training montage, and the guy who knows this and like he's wiser, he's been through, is going to impart everything he knows. He's got a fucking binder, and she's just like,
But he has a binder.
he has a literal binder, and she's just like, wait, is that all? Nah, dude, I'm good. Like, see you later. I have a job to do.
Like when he rips the first half of the binder, he's like, well, I guess we don't need
Don't
all
need
of
that,
this.
yeah.
But like, yeah.
The 15-year plan became a 15-day plan.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
So
Although I will say,
Fantastic.
in defense of Bruce, my new Hulk, I love Professor Hulk.
yes.
I really liked Gladiator Hulk and Sakaar, but I think
Yeah.
my new favorite Hulk is Yoga Hulk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He
Yoga
might
Hulk
be
is a
my
good
new
Hulk.
favorite guy.
Who's your
And
best
I see
friend?
a lot of Hulk fans being
Spandex.
like, I can't believe they're doing this to the Hulk. I'm like, this is what Banner has always wanted.
Right.
Yes.
Why would
Yes,
you be
was the
upset
point.
for the character that you love to get the thing he wants?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, because all they want is smashy. Yeah.
So one thing because if you've never listened to the SuperPodHeroCast, I am the pedant on our podcast.
Sure.
Go on.
When he's first teaching Jen yoga, and she does the whole, straighten the spine, holding the farts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's Jen, right?
Right.
But then he wakes her up the next morning with the air horn, and it's still Jen. And
Yep.
then she becomes She-Hulk, and he's like, "Oh, you do revert." I'm like, "She went to bed as Jen.
Yep.
Right.
What the hell?"
yeah.
The only explanation that works is that there is a scene they didn't show us where she
Yeah, there's
changed
gotta be a
and went to bed
deleted
as
scene,
that. But like,
Yeah.
from what we see, you're absolutely right, and I caught that too.
Yeah.
First time, I'm like, "Wait, why is he writing that down?" She went to bed as Jen.
Wait,
Yeah.
But that,
Casey, I hear you.
I say, is it a novel thing for you to hear that you're right?
Shut up. You cannot. Okay. I thought earlier when I made the comment about Marvel, and you were like, "Yeah," but then you see, I thought you were like trying to argue your way around because anytime I bring up anything Marvel does wrong, you're like, "No, but you see, it's this that they're trying to do."
Yeah, I feel like
That's
that
not
was
true.
either just unorganized, right? But it wasn't. I don't think it pulled me too much out where I was like,
No, it
hang
didn't.
on a minute. It definitely was like, wait, oh yeah.
I think it's
whatever.
I was done with it by the time the beautiful training montage started. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this is fun now.
Yeah.
If anything, it's simply underscoring the fact that there is no differentiation between her physical forms. It's always Jennifer.
Right. It's always her in
Sometimes
the
she's
mind.
wearing, a human suit. Sometimes she's wearing a Hulk suit, right?
But the Hulk
it's always
says
her.
you revert back to human form overnight.
Oh yeah. But I think, like Caleb said, I expect that throughout the course of the day, then they were doing more boulder tossing, and
Yeah.
No,
was
because
She-Hulk
she
again.
makes fun of the yoga, and he says, "Okay, clearly you're not ready for this. Go to bed. I'll see you in the morning." Cut to the next morning.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, where she's human and he.
It is a rare and like noticeable flub, but like it's also one that doesn't really hurt the plot. So it's like
Doesn't bother.
like,
Doesn't
It literally
change
just
my
like-
score of it. But I'm
This-
just like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is the
I mean,
kind
if
of
you
thing I
just,
like to
like-
poke fun at in these shows. 'Cause, like most of
Right.
it is just like, listen, like that's just how they fucking wrote it. Like just because you disagree, but like this is like an actual flaw.
I feel like this is just a simple editing mistake, though, where they easily just flip flop two scenes, and
They
then
must have.
it's easily it's an easy fix where it's not a plot hole. It's just an out of order comment.
Yeah.
He says a thing before he learns a thing.
It's Will Byers' birthday.
Yeah, the Will Byers birthday. Yeah, where everybody forgot it was Will Byers' birthday.
Hey, did you guys get a question for you guys. Did you guys get in the car accident, which they changed her origin slightly, right? Because in the comics,
it's a transfusion.
Transfusion after she's like gunned down by criminals that she's prosecuting. Because
wasn't one of the two of them though? Didn't one time it was a car accident?
I'm not familiar.
The canon that I'm familiar with, it was she was a district attorney,
right?
And like the criminals she was prosecuting, I think it was like the mob, like put out a hit on her. She's gunshot wounds, and Bruce gives her transfusion to save her life.
Yeah.
So
this is what I remember.
Yeah. But when the car flips and she gets out, did you get little vibes of like the Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby TV show? Like, did it have that kind of feel?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Both of them. Yeah.
I thought that. So we got lots of fan service, not too much, but I feel like we got a lot.
I think that was
of
a subtle
service.
nod. Yeah, I completely agree. So you guys have a brand new season coming out really soon. When does that drop? For the SuperPodHeroCast.
For the SuperPodHeroCast. That's a great question. I've already forgotten the date.
So the brief look on your face, I was like, do you even know?
September 16th. We're starting a little late this year, but it'll still work out to 2 a month. So calm down, nerds.
And if you don't know what episode they're launching with, you have to watch Nerd Debate, because that is where you learn what episode the very first episode is. So make sure you go ahead and listen to that episode on your podcast player of choice. Or if you head over to the SuperPodHeroCast YouTube channel, you can watch it there. And then it's at the very end. You'll find out the winner of Nerd Debate and what episode they chose to do for the season premiere of season 6, which, by the way, for the last like 2 episodes, I definitely was saying season 5. It is definitely season 6.
Okay, I just did it before we started. Todd said something about season 7. I'm like, what do you mean?
That's like 2 seasons away. You're like, no, that's next.
That's next season.
So season 6, September 16th. Right. Amazing.
So to be fair, we like, I feel like we've just started to stretch our geek muscles here. So we go a lot longer, a lot deeper. Sometimes scene by scene. So love this. This is super fun. Can't wait to come back. Casey and I are going to be coming back throughout the series. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Of course. Thanks for on. So one of the 2 of you, or both of you, or none of you, will be back as we continue on these bonus episodes for She-Hulk. And you know what? Maybe we'll continue this to give you a little hint into the Super Pod Hero world, and then you guys can go ahead and check out their episodes. You definitely want to check those out every other Friday starting September 16th. Yep. And for all of us here, thanks a lot for watching. If you have not hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice or YouTube, make sure to do so. And as always, share with 100,000 of your closest Hulk friends.
It's the least you can do. And, make sure if you're explaining to 100,000 of your friends and they tell you they already know, believe them.
Believe them. And just say sorry and stop.
Up it to 2,000.
Yeah.
200,000.
Move on.
Might as well.
Check that name on the list, move on to the next one, and then figure out how many more people you have to tell, because you're spreading the word.
Right.
Random
we doubled the number of
on
hosts.
The street even. Just, hey, have you ever heard of this podcast?
Hey, let's do it. So, Casey, Todd, thank you very much for joining us for this episode 1 of the She-Hulk recap, and we super appreciate it. And we look forward to talking more in depth about the incorrect order that Smart Hulk recognizes things. So, thanks a lot for joining us, everyone, and we will see you on Sunday.